Welcome to the Explainer. Today we're going to do something, well, a little bit radical. We're going to take legendary physical manufacturing techniques, literally the exact kind that completely revolutionized the automotive industry, and we're going to prove exactly how they solve modern, digital knowledge work burnout. If your team is feeling overwhelmed, if you're constantly missing deadlines, or honestly just plain stressed, you are definitely going to want to pay close attention to this.
Think about this universal frustration for a second. How on earth can you fix a process that you can't even see? Think about a physical factory. If a machine breaks down or a conveyor belt suddenly jams, everybody knows it, right? Sparks fly, alarms sound, parts start piling up on the floor. But in modern digital knowledge work, our bottlenecks are completely hidden. They're buried inside thousands of lines of code, lost in unread email threads, and scattered across endless instant messaging channels.
And this invisibility, it creates a massive problem. Managers simply cannot be everywhere at once. When bottlenecks are invisible, project dependencies remain totally undiscovered until it is way too late. And that leads directly to rushed work, massive amounts of wasted effort, and ultimately, severe team burnout. What we really need is a dedicated, structured fact-finding mission to uncover these hidden dependencies before they just derail the whole shebang.
Section 1. What is a Gemba walk? A lean management strategy. Let's dive right into finding a solution using a comprehensive guide from Adobe.
So, Gemba, it's a Japanese word, and it translates directly to the actual place. In the context of business, going to the Gemba means actually getting out of the manager's office. You step away from the dashboards, you step away from the spreadsheets, and you go observe the work exactly in the environment where it's happening. The concept originated on Toyota's manufacturing floor, but as you'll see, it is just as vital in a digital office.
It's absolutely crucial we understand what this is not. As the Adobe guide puts it, the walk isn't a ploy by management to snoop on employees, but rather a strategy to observe processes as they happen. A Gemba walk is never, ever a performance evaluation. It's actually an act of service. You are going to the actual place of work to serve your team's needs by finding and fixing the broken workflows that are just making their jobs harder than they need to be.
Section 2. Beyond the factory. Lean-in software. Okay, that brings up a really fascinating question. Can a methodology developed for Toyota's 1980s assembly lines actually work for a 21st century software team? We'll listen to this killer quote from an executive at the Indian software giant Wipro Technologies, which was documented in a Harvard Business School working paper. He said, IT is at the same place as the auto industry in 1910. Today, each organization does their work uniquely. We are still in craft production. However, there's so much inefficiency that can be taken out. This hits the nail on the head. It perfectly justifies why digital knowledge work desperately needs lean principles. We are still building digital products like artists and crafters, when we really need to be thinking like engineers. And this brilliantly illustrates how these physical factory concepts directly map over to the digital world. In a factory, you have a physical assembly line. Well, in software or digital marketing, that becomes your value stream, the sequence of digital tasks that actually create value for the customer. In a factory, workers pull an on cord to completely stop the line when they see a defect. In digital work, that translates to immediate iterative code reviews or daily check-ins where a problem and its solution are kept together in time and space instead of being discovered months down the road.
Section 3, the Wipro Experiment, a lean pilot initiative. Let's look at some real proof.
This isn't just theory. We have incredible empirical proof starting back in 2004 with Wipro Technologies. They were facing rising costs and huge employee turnover, so they quietly launched a massive lean pilot initiative. And were able to ground this entire narrative in rigorous data thanks to a phenomenal working paper from Harvard Business School. The researchers got unprecedented access to analyze Wipro's transformation, tracking exactly what happens when you treat a digital software project just like a lean manufacturing line.
Let me tell you a quick story about a specific Wipro project called the tooling system. So this team was tasked with building an electronic tracking system, but the client just kept shifting the requirements. Total chaos was looming. So what they do? They applied lean. First, they replaced their rigid, delayed planning with a design structure matrix. This let them instantly map out task dependencies. Then, they put up visual control boards. Every single day, team members marked their progress visually, which literally made the invisible digital work visible to the manager. Finally, because half the team was in India and the testing client was overseas, they couldn't just walk over to their desks, so they used WebEx screen sharing to conduct virtual root cause analysis in real time.
By utilizing these simple visual tools, they saved 6.5% on total effort, and get this, their coding productivity jumped 80% above the company standard. Then there was a second case, a team building a telecom product. Instead of doing all the design up front and just crossing their fingers that it worked months later, they shifted to daily iterative cycles and daily software builds. Because they were constantly testing in small batches, they caught hidden dependencies incredibly early. The result? They delivered a working prototype so fast that the client actually expanded the scope of the whole project. Wipro increased their revenue by 20% on the project, all while perfectly hitting the revised deadlines.
Section 4. The hard data. Does it actually work? It's time for the numbers.
We really need to move past isolated anecdotes, right? So the Harvard Business School researchers set up this massive comparative analysis. They took Wipro's standard software development projects and evaluated them directly against the projects where managers and teams had been explicitly trained in these lean initiatives, looking at data between 2005 and 2007. This sample size here is just staggering, and it's what makes this study so powerful. They compared 1,111 standard non-lean projects directly against 92 lean projects. This wasn't some tiny little trial run. This was an industrial-scale test of process improvement in the knowledge economy.
Look at the sheer margin of victory for the lean teams here. Let's talk about schedule deviation, basically how early they finished. Non-lean projects finished slightly early at minus 0.8%, but lean projects, they finished nearly 5% early. And for effort deviation, which means beating their estimated hours of work, lean projects beat their estimates by a massive 9.4%. That's almost double the margin of the standard teams. They did the work faster and with significantly less wasted effort.
But here's the thing. The researchers found something even more valuable than speed. The standard deviation of both schedule and effort was significantly lower in the lean projects. To put that into plain English, it means lean provides radical predictability. It practically eliminated the wild, chaotic variance that causes those disastrous, stressful project delays. You don't just finish faster, you finish exactly when you say you're going to finish every single time. Section 5. Your Lean Action Plan. Implement Gemba walks. Let's make this actionable today.
Here's Adobe's 6-step checklist. Number 1. Make a specific plan. Don't just wander around aimlessly. Pick a specific process. 2. Prepare the team. There should be absolutely no surprises here. 3. Walk the actual value stream where the revenue is being generated. 4. Document your findings digitally so you have a solid record. Now I want to heavily emphasize step 5, observe. Do not correct. Remember, you're in learning mode. You observe the process, not the people, and you never give feedback during the walk itself. Or honestly, they will just resent you for it. And finally, step 6, follow up transparently with the team on exactly what you found.
Now, if you're managing a remote team right now, you're probably thinking, well, I can't walk around a physical office. Let me reassure you, virtual Gemba walks are incredibly effective. You use the exact same 6-step checklist. Just like Wipro used WebEx way back in 2005, you can just jump on a screen share today, have your employees share their screen, and literally walk you through their digital workflow in real time. Where are they forced to copy-paste data? Where's the software lagging? You can observe the digital factory floor directly from your home office. Which leaves us with one final, absolutely vital challenge. I want you to think about the work you and your team do every single day. What is your team's actual revenue-generating value stream? And more importantly, when are you going to step out of your virtual office, go to the Gemba, and see it for yourself? The data clearly proves it works. Now it's up to you to take the walk.